After 4 days of voting, the EU has published a first projection of the results for its election of a new European Parliament. As polls predicted, the center-right group known as the European People's Party, or EPP, is once again the largest. It is projected to win 191 seats. The center-left Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats, (SND), looks set to win about 135 seats. But the hard right has gained ground in some countries. The Economist is tracking the contest. Here you can find a breakdown of the results, analysis of what's at stake, and short guides to each group in the parliament. And if you are interested in contests elsewhere, see our Trump/Biden poll tracker, our British election tracker, and more at our election tracker hub. The hard right Identity and Democracy (ID) group is projected to win 57 seats. It failed to pull ahead of the European Conservatives and Reformists (ECR), a group of soft Eurosceptics. Nor did it beat and replace the liberal Renew Europe group, who remain as the third biggest force in parliament. That was partly because the ID group ejected one of its biggest members, Alternative for Germany (AfD), at the end of May. Maximilian Krah, one of the AfD's candidates, had suggested that not all officers in Nazi Germany were war criminals. In 2016, the AfD was expelled by the ECR, who also gained seats and came fourth in this election. The biggest winner of the night was Marine Le Pen in the National Rally, her hard-right party, which is part of the ID group. National Rally was projected to win 30 seats, while President Emmanuel Macron's coalition secured just 14. On Sunday evening, Mr. Macron announced he would dissolve the French National Assembly and called legislative elections to take place on June 30th and July 7th. On Monday, the jockeying for the top jobs will begin. Ursula von der Leyen, the current head of the Commission and lead candidate for the EPP, will need 361 votes to be re-elected. The current projections suggest the centrist parties, EPP, SND, and Renew, will win 409 seats. A secret ballot will take place in July or September. Read more about what powers the European Parliament holds and our analysis of Europe's shift to the right. Scroll down to see past polls and our guides to each group in Parliament. Dozens of parties, both national and European, are represented in the Parliament, but most belong to one of 7 political groups. They work on policies ranging from aid for Ukraine to data protection laws and cutting the EU's carbon emissions. At the previous election in 2019, Liberals also feared a shift to the right. But although the number of right-wing MEPs grew, so did the tally of those belonging to the most pro-EU parties. Since then, however, the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, war in Ukraine and in the Middle East, and renewed concerns about immigration have led to a surge in support for right-wingers in some member states. In 2022, Italy voted a hard-right party into office, and in 2023 the party of Geert Wilders, an anti-Muslim populist, won the Dutch election, although he has not been able to form a government. The European polls show that parties on the fringes are gaining ground compared to 2019. What may give centrist hope is that right-wing groups remain deeply divided. Many hard-right parties are non-inscrits, or non-attached, meaning that they have decided not to join a parliamentary group. And a large number of new parties or coalitions have not yet announced which group they might join if their candidates are elected. As well as making laws and deciding on the EU's budget, along with the EU's 27 member states and the European Commission, the Parliament plays a role in who gets the EU's plum jobs. Each group can nominate a Spitzenkandidat, or lead candidate for president of the European Commission. Although who gets the post is ultimately decided by the EU's 27 national leaders, the Parliament must then approve their choice. Ursula von der Leyen, the current president, won in 2019 without being the top candidate of any group, prompting questions over whether the Spitzenkandidat system, introduced in 2014, will endure. What matters most to voters? We looked at what people across the EU are searching for to get a sense of which issues may prove decisive. Search traffic data from Google reveal vast geographical differences. Many Europeans worry about conflicts such as the war in Ukraine and in Gaza. People in Estonia and Latvia, close to Russia, have searched for this most. Keywords relating to the cost of living, such as inflation, as well as energy prices, food prices, and mortgages, are searched particularly often in Germany and Italy. The environment, including terms such as climate change, is a hot topic on the continent's fringes. It's most often searched for in Malta, and it also seems popular in countries with long coastlines such as Portugal, Spain, and Denmark. Searches related to retirement policies are high in Romania. Its government promised a rise in pensions for 2024, and in France, where the pension age was raised from 62 to 64 last year. EPP, center-right. The European People's Party group, EPP, is the largest in the parliament and has won every election since 1999. Somewhat confusingly, the group's European sister party is also called the European People's Party. Its chair is Manfred Weber of Germany's Conservative Christian Social Union, the Bavarian ally of the Christian Democrats. EPP members have many of the EU's big jobs. Roberta Metsola, a Maltese MEP, is president of the parliament, and the EPP party's Spitzenkandidat, or lead candidate for president of the European Commission, is Ursula von der Leyen, the incumbent. Center-left. The Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats, S&D, has existed since 1953, albeit under several different names. Notable parties include Spain's Socialist Workers' Party, Germany's Social Democrats, and Italy's Democratic Party. Its president is Iris Garcia from Spain, and its Party of European Socialists has endorsed Nicolas Schmidt, a Luxembourgish politician and current EU Commissioner for Jobs and Social Rights, as its Spitzenkandidat. Centrist. Renew Europe, RE, is the big tent for all liberal parties in the European Parliament. Previously called Group of the Alliance of Liberals and Democrats for Europe, it is a staunchly pro-EU outfit. RE is chaired by Valérie Hayer, a French MEP and a member of Emmanuel Macron's Renaissance Party. Ms. Hayer is also the Liberals' joint Spitzenkandidat, alongside Marie-Agnes Strack-Zimmermann, a German, and Sandro Gozzi, an Italian. Hard-right. The Identity and Democracy (ID) group was formed after the collapse of the Europe of Nations and Freedom group. The French National Rally, Marine Le Pen's party, leads the polls for it in France. Other members include Austria's Freedom Party and the Dutch Party for Freedom of Geert Wilders. In May, the Alternative for Germany, AfD, was kicked out of the group. It is chaired by Marco Zanni, of Italy's Northern League. Left-wing. The left in the European Parliament comprises Eurosceptic left-wing parties. Its biggest parties are La France Insoumise, Unsubmissive France, led by Jean-Luc Mélenchon, and Germany's Die Linke. The group is chaired by Manon Aubry, a French MEP, and Martin Scherdwan, a German MEP. Environmentalist. The Greens/European Free Alliance group provides a home for European Green parties as well as some small regional parties, animal welfare groups, and pirate parties, which campaign on internet freedom issues. It is pro-European. Germany's Greens are its biggest party, followed by France's Les Ecologistes. It is chaired by Philippe Lamberts of Belgium and Thierry Rienck of Germany. ECR. Right-wing. The European Conservatives and Reformists, ECR, are a group of conservative, soft Eurosceptic parties. Its members include Poland's Law and Justice Party, the Brothers of Italy and Spain's Vox. In 2016, the ECR expelled members of Germany's AfD. After Britain left the EU, it lost one of its biggest members, the British Conservative Party. Non-affiliated. Non-inscrits, NI, French for non-attached, are parties that have decided against joining one of the existing groups in the European Parliament. Their numbers have grown in recent years. Hungary's right-wing Fidesz party, led by Viktor Orbán, the Prime Minister, as well as the conservative Jobbik Party are NIs. Italy's Five Star Movement is also part of this group. Non-affiliated. There are several new parties and coalitions that have not yet announced which group they might join if elected. One of them is Spain's far-left Sumar, which ran in the country's general election for the first time in 2023. Another is Portugal's Democratic Alliance, which comprises three parties that have been associated with the EPP and the ECR. This category also includes all mentions of other parties in the polls.